This is the realest show out.
You did the opposite of what I think most people do. Sometimes it can be kind of scary to just put yourself out there.
That's real. That's raw. That's exactly what we're looking for.
We look forward to connecting with you guys on all of our social media platforms. The way to support us is to like and comment on all your favorite episodes. And please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications for the next Gut Check Uncut. What's up, everybody? Todd Special here, co-host of Gut Check. I got B-Bisky in the house.
The Bisky's here.
The Bisky.
Sup.
The Bisky.
Sup, dude.
Sup, man. Sup. Is that supposed to be like sup, but it's sup?
It's S-U-H. Sup.
Dude, I got to tell you, this guest that we're about to have on the show, I'm just going to put this out there, and I know you probably heard me say it a few times. I mean it. They keep getting better and better and better. This guy, I'm so excited because he's just done so much in his life. He has lost $100 million. Went from the streets to getting $100 million to losing it, and then building one of the biggest empires ever. This guy is a co-founder of Sports One Marketing. He's a former CEO of Lee Steinberg Sports and Entertainment Agency. His life mission is to empower over 1 billion. Let me say that again, 1 billion people to be happy. He's a 3-time international best-selling author of Game Time Decision Making, Connected to Goodness, Compassionate Capitalism, and Be Unstoppable. He's a top 100 business coach. He's executive producer of Entrepreneur's #1 digital business show, Elevator Pitch. And he's also the host of a top 10 entrepreneur called The Playbook. I mean, this guy's done a lot more stuff too. I mean, like producer, executive, so there's just nothing he can't do.
This is quite literally probably the biggest, if not one of the biggest guests that we've ever had. I mean, he's insane. The Lee Steinberg, that's what was inspired Jerry Maguire movie.
I told you that
CEO of that. I mean, he's been on stage with Gary Vee and done TED Talks and done all these crazy things. And I know we ask it in every single podcast. It's kind of Todd's thing, if you will.
Yeah, like your gap.
But we ask, like my what?
Like the gap. That's your
the gap. 100%. Yeah. So I thought you were doing a forehead joke.
No. But there is a large gap there.
But the crazy thing is, if you were to do the math, how much money this guy makes in an hour per se. But he said yes to us to give us 20 minutes of his time for free.
So what does that say about this guy?
Amazing.
I just want people to hear it now.
The dude's
so
ridiculous.
we're going right into it.
And the golden nuggets are fucking gold. God!
Let's go into it. David Meltzer, everyone.
So I want to get right into it. I want to ask you, and I did see on kind of some of your speeches and things, you talk a lot about providing value and saying thank you and gratitude, which we're massive proponents of. But I do want to ask you, just because I've had personal experience and some people in my life that have had this, how about the person that's in the dark room with their blinds down, that's been there sleeping for 3 days, depressed as all hell? It's easier for people like us to say, yeah, I've got shit I can be grateful for, but how about that person? How does that person find the thing amongst the darkness to say thank you and be grateful for when they feel like there is nothing to find?
Yeah, other than the norm, like being alive.
Yeah, other than the classic stuff.
Yeah. So, first of all, I've been there. I was born there with nothing, and luckily, genetically, I think there is a difference between some people. So we have to understand, you could put me on a basketball court, guys, and no matter how hard I try, I could never compete with LeBron James. That's just the truth. And I think in optimism, I have that LeBron James-esque optimistic genetic quantum being within me. So I'm speaking to the people that are not quantumly happy. I'm speaking to people that, sure, when I lost everything, there was minutes and moments. It was dark. I lost over $100 million, man. My wife was my life was a mess. But genetically, quantumly, I'm an optimist, man. I'm like, all right, it took me 9 months to be a millionaire. So I know a lot more now. It'll be less time. I'm going to get it. So what do I do with someone that quantumly wakes up in darkness? I'll tell you, there's only one thing I know. You can't just tell someone, be happy, look at the bright side of things.
Right.
This drives me nuts when people tell me, it's so simple, just say thank you before you go to bed and when you wake up. Yes, do that, but it's going to have no effect on that person for a long time. I'll tell you the only thing that I know. Logic won't change the way they feel. The only thing that changes the way you feel is the truth. And the only truth that would help them is to get and encourage them to go do something for someone else. So I would say, hey, look, you worthless piece of depressed, anxious shit. If life sucks that bad, it's so dark and lonely and miserable and depressing, then don't waste it on yourself. Go give it to somebody else. And I promise you, when they go give it to someone else, and it could be something simple of like walk your neighborhood and pick up trash. Go practice smiling at people as you walk by them. Wave to them, and force yourself into being of service and of value to others. If you think you're a piece of shit and your life sucks, then give it to somebody else. And guess what? The truth vibrates the fastest. All of a sudden, that positive energy starts healing the quantum nature that is within you. It starts speaking to your subconscious, clearing out the subconscious thoughts that you're a piece of crap, things suck, you'll never be able to do it, all the things that you're missing, you don't want, and what other people are scoffing and making fun of you your entire life. And then it actually starts taking course in your actions. And more good things start happening. And slowly but surely, the light, the love, and the lessons come back into your soul, that quantum being. And guess what? You are happy.
Wow.
I love that.
I mean, man, I get the chills when you say that because I come from, a very, very humble beginning myself from the streets. I mean, I ran illegal card games for a living for 12 years. We've got the same kind of hustler mentality.
Probably know my dad.
There's a high probability, Dave. We'll talk about that after the show. But, one of the biggest things that I live by is, and I was taught this, was gratitude, right? Because I've been there. I've been in a room where it's just complete darkness. I would cry 14, 15 hours a day. They see the tattooed guy. They say, oh, he's got to be a tough guy. No, I was at my deepest, darkest moments. And you're right. That's one of the biggest things that helped me was kind of like pulling myself out of it, doing for others. What became of doing for others, what was taught to me by my mentor, Danelle Delgado, which I love dearly, a very, very great friend of mine, right? She's family now, is gratitudes. And I know that's big in your life as well, And I know a lot of times people say, well, things you can be grateful for. Well, you got food, you've got clothes on your back. They're the simple things. You can have that. I want the world to kind of get an insight of what David Meltzer's daily gratitudes would be, right? Other than just food and, you got clothes on your back. What does a daily gratitude for David Meltzer look like?
Yeah, for me, number one, I have to start with health. And I know, and it's changed in my life. I am so grateful that I'm healthy because if you're healthy, you get as many wishes in a day that you want. If you're unhealthy, you only have one wish, to be healthy. And so I never pass up, no matter what it is and who you are, you should be grateful for your health. And then we can go to the wishes. And of course, I go down the general one, family, and then I go down to receiving. One of my weird, thankful things in my life is I'm so thankful I know how to receive. Because I've always had the intent to help other people. From the time I was 5 years old, I wanted to buy my mom a house and a car. That's what drove me. Right? I didn't want to live in a 2-bedroom apartment with 6 kids, 2 jobs, sitting and eating my dinner in a paper bag in a station wagon. I didn't want that. And so I knew how things were in my life. I didn't need them, but I could go get them. And I am so grateful that I've learned to receive in such an abundant way to what I would say utilize my intent to give, to help people and to empower people in their lives. And now, because I've practiced receiving for so long, you guys probably have heard this saying, right? The more you give, the more you get. That almost killed me because I'm such a negotiator. I'm like you. I'm a street guy, right? So everything's a trade, a negotiation, a hustle, a competition. So when someone tells me I give to receive, I'm always quid pro quo. I'm figuring out, okay, if I give this, I'm going to get this. And when I shifted the paradigm to all I'm going to do is receive with appreciation, the word appreciation means to add value. Your house appreciates, it goes up in value. So I'm going to receive with appreciation, add my value to it, and give it away, which is the process of expansion. So if you want to be a bigger vessel, if you want to be able to hold the things you want, you have to expand your being. See, most people are too small to hold what they want. They may say they want, a Rolls Royce. They may say they want a private plane. They may say they want to make over $100 million. They're too small because it takes practice receiving in order to expand who you are to handle all of that stuff coming through you for others. And it only happens with appreciation, because when you add value to what you receive, you expand.
Wow.
I love that.
That's unbelievable, man. I love that.
So I did want to start the show with asking you some questions about the gratitudes things, because it's just things that that Todd and I have immense passion for, and we kind of share that. It's a commonality amongst us, and I do like talking about things that I can't Google and I can't look at another podcast or speech and find out about. But I do want to just in business a little bit, just because when I was doing our homework, even more so than just being a fan already, you do a lot. You got a lot of irons in the fire. You're an author and a CEO and a speaker and a philanthropist and all these different things. I am just curious to know for you, I know your passion is definitely adding value and making people happy, but from a business standpoint, what is that one or two things that you're massively focused on for growth that you're most passionate about right now of all the million titles that you have?
Yeah, community, right? So monetizing my community. And when I monetize things, I can articulate a value greater that I'm asking for, that I give. And I can't do that. The bigger the community, I think it's unfathomable how big the community can be. And when I was younger doing business, there's a limited community that I could address and I could monetize. And when you have good intentions, you want to monetize your community because you're giving more value than you're receiving. So you're helping them and you're giving them opportunity. Well, today, my objective is to create a spine of value from movies, TV shows, free content, coaching, executive coaching, group coaching, consulting. I mean, you list about philanthropy, but it's all just a spine of creating a community, an empowered community that I can monetize when they're ready, right? The majority of the people in my community, I give everything to free for. Then I have these private groups that's $50 a month guaranteed. You don't like my haircut, you get all your money back. It's just to get you committed. Then I have one-on-one. I have 50 people at a time that I work with one-on-one. I'm on call 7 days a week and I have scheduled calls. And then I have 5 billionaire clients that pay for everybody. That's the way I look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I got 5 billionaire clients that, knowing what I know, they can make millions and millions of dollars a month. So they pay me a lot. And I guarantee, no matter it's the free people who come to free trainings or the one-on-one or the private, everybody that works with me, I guarantee one thing: you will receive more value than I asked for. So if it's your time, that's all I'm asking for. You're going to end an hour training with David Meltzer that's free and say, that was worth my time. If you're in a private group for $50 a month, you're going to say, it was worth my time and $50. If you're a one-on-one client of mine, you're going to say, that guy makes me money every month. There's no way I want him to quit me or quit him. And then those billionaires, they pay me a ton. But every month I'm held to a standard. It's literally check time saying, okay, I have one of my clients was making $20 million a month and I boost them to $65 million a month. Right? Like, so how much am I worth? It works both ways, right? Most people are selling back end, selling, overselling, lying, manipulating, and cheating. We get that from being from the street. I used to sell like that. But you have all the power in the world when you know that you help someone make an extra $40 million in a month and you're saying, this is what I cost. Do you want to move forward? Can you see any reason you don't want to move forward? Because I'll go find myself another billionaire and do the same thing for him.
Yeah, I love that. I love that too, because some people I think can get quick to try and monetize before adding too much value. So I love that you give so much free without rushing the monetization standpoint.
And all I do literally is lay it out there for people. Hey, this is what's available, and tell me what I can do to be of service. And I luckily have a wait list for some of the things, but literally everything's free. In fact, I had a client. He's like, please, I'll pay you double. I said, no. I said, this is what I charge for the one-on-one side. You've waited 6 months for me to work with you. I said, but I have to be honest. Everything you're going to learn is available on my search engine for free, right? Search.dmeltzer.com. You can find the videos. If you don't want to do the work and you want me to customize it, fine. But it's just like in Good Will Hunting when he's like, look, everything you just regurgitated to me, you can find with $5 of late charges at the public library. Dave Meltzer Library has it all for free. So if you're out there, I will give it to you. The daily practices, my books. I give everyone my email, David@dmeltzer. I'll give it to you for free. Just reach out to me. I'll send it to you.
It's awesome because, I hear that, yes, I'm a sales guy. I'm from the streets. I love everything with transparency and honesty. And I've been fortunate to be on some stages with some pretty cool people. And the way that Gut Check originally started started was calling out the people that are robbing. That was my vision, right? Like I wanted to save the community, in your words, right? Because you and I, and you know better than I do, but you go to an event and they say, wow, Todd, you're an amazing speaker. I'm going to make you a millionaire. And the guy says, it's only going to be 125,000. And I go, oh, that's great. And so, I said to him, I go, hey, dude, listen, here's the deal. Because I'm from the street and I always think, what's the catch, right? I go, hey, David, here's the deal though, right? You're telling me it's only 125,000. You only take 5 clients a year. So how about this? I'll cut you a check for 10,000 right now, and I'll give you 50% of everything that I earn. You said I was going to be a millionaire, and you said it was guaranteed, right? So if that's the case, and I only make $1 million, I just paid you $500,000, which is 4 times what you've asked me for. That's not how it works, And we know that, right? There's a lot of scammers out there. It's
hey man,
time versus
I'll take
value.
that deal right now for you.
Yeah,
I know a guy that speaks like you. I can make a million with you. So anytime you want 50-50 split, just let me know. I don't need the 10,000 up front. I'll just take the 50-50 split.
I might be calling you after. As a matter of fact, one of your guys, Todd, had reached out to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And a great human, by the way, unbelievable dude, man. And he just speaks the world of you. And that's one thing I kind of want to get into a little bit. The people in your community, because obviously, we're very, very blessed and honored to have you. I love how you take time very seriously, right? I know you do 20-minute meetings and you do 5-minute phone calls. We've done our research, right? And I know why you do that now. And it was like an epiphany, right? It's like people get more prepared like we did for this podcast, knowing we only have 20 minutes with a legend like yourself. So we want to make sure we ask the right questions and we can give people free information and content from someone like yourself that's going to add value to their lives. Why is it so important to prioritize time? Because your value in your time, whether it's with a billionaire or someone like me, is so inherently important to you, and that is transferable to the people you're teaching. Tell us a little bit about why time is so valuable to you.
The only thing we all share is 24 hours a day of man-made constructed time. That's the only thing. It's the only stable data that we all have. And for me, it's how much activity, productive, accessible, and gracious activity. How much value am I providing? That's productive. Accessibility is a duality. How accessible am I to everybody? Which is where that 520 rule comes in, because you can't be accessible to everybody if you're visiting with everyone. Yep. You got to get down to the dirt. And then how am I accessing what I want? That's the receiving. We talked about that earlier. And then, of course, the gracious lens of, am I finding the light, the love, and the lessons in everything quickly? And deciphering whether I'm going to feed that because it's feeding me, let it fall away because it's not feeding me, or fire it from my life because it's bleeding me. And so when you take the man-made construct of time and you understand 24 hours of activity, no beginning or end. So my tomorrow starts today. One of the smartest things I do is I start my day at 9 p.m. Right? And I don't wake up then. I have an unwinding routine that puts my mind, body, soul in a state of recovery and access, so that when I wake up at 4 a.m., that I am at a higher level, a higher plateau, where most people live their lives as a tube, right? Food in, food out. You're paycheck to paycheck, month to month. Not me, man. I'm not waking up at the bottom of the hill every day. I'm plateauing and growing because I utilize the 24 hours and understand productivity, accessibility, and gratitude through what? Efficiency, effectiveness, and statistical success. Now, here's the biggest nuance, a word named focus. I bend time. See, you can only focus in on one thing at a time. So I practice, you guys look like you're in fairly good shape. One of you more
not Brandon. Not Brandon. That's why I said.
I'm that younger, leaner look. That's all.
My super muscle is my refocus muscle. See, you can only focus in on one thing at a time. So I practice refocusing, meaning that I'm focused on you guys, but I'm checking my email right now because I can focus on my email real quick, gather enough data from the email to understand most of it, not perfect, but get back to the conversation that we're having, and sometimes use a little bit of a pregnant pause to gather data again where you may not notice it in man-made constructive time. Why is that so important? Because the speed of thought moves faster than the speed of light. Wow. So think about it. You can think faster than time. You can think about the past, present, and future. You can bend time. So I actually pragmatically train people to refocus so that you can refocus on 1, 2, or even 3 things in the same time of man-made construct where you appear to be multitasking. No such thing. It's impossible. The mind cannot look or focus on two things at once. But what it can do is bend time by refocusing so quickly, it appears as if you're doing things at the exact same time.
Wow, dude. I feel like I need to cut you a check right now. Anyways, that's awesome.
50%, man.
Listen, 50% of 100.
Betting on you.
Yeah, 50% of $100 million is better than 50% of zero. So I might be in. Yeah. That's one thing too to close this out because we know how important your time is. Okay, I will say this: I have been so excited about this particular episode and podcast because I'm a huge fan of yours, and again, it shows in the community of people that you surround yourself with, which I know is very important. I know this, me and people that I talk to that feel like, I'm some sort of light in their lives, they don't realize that it took a lot of relinquishing ego, right? Because I think, when you're young, you think you know everything and, you're full of piss and vinegar and you've lost $100 million and you've rebuilt, et cetera. I have zero ego. You've proven that. So the last question I want to ask you is this, right? I know there's good and bad ego and I get all that. That's a whole nother conversation. Why did you say yes to us? And here's why, right? We have a total, I think we're at we're close to 183 total followers. Yeah, on our podcast. You're huge. And you take the time for people like us that are willing to scale. And I'm sure that ties into community and light and love and appreciation, all the stuff that you stand for. Why did you say yes when this may reach just one person or 5 million to guys like us?
Open mind, open heart. That's it. So if I can communicate with someone with an open mind and an open heart in 20 minutes, then, each person on earth has on average 1,000 people in their community. And I want to talk to people with open minds and open hearts because they're going to share what I talk about. And you may only have one person listening each, but I guarantee that person who listens to guys like you have an open mind and an open heart. And they may only have one person in their network, but they're an open mind and an open heart. And eventually, as it goes down the train of one, there's going to be one of those people that all of a sudden says, oh my gosh, I'm going to spread this to my 6 million people. See, the problem with most people is they don't think this way. They look at things differently and they say, oh, I'm going to go on Gary Vee's show and everybody's going to love me because I've been on the biggest shows in the world. I have some of the biggest shows in the world. That doesn't do anything if there's not open minds. And all it takes is one open mind with a big community of open minds to go ahead and set the message straight, set the message to an exponential rate. So I don't look at anything. You have an open mind and an open heart. Reach out to me. You got my 20 minutes. I will do my best to share as much information in that time as I can. I will offer more information. My email, david@dmeltzer.com. I will sign a book, send it and ship it to anyone and pay for it. Ebook, audiobook, all my exercises. So the reason I said yes is because you and I, and all three of us, have like minds and like hearts. And that's what's going to change the world.
I appreciate that, man. I guess I should have told you the story to negotiate a bigger rate coming from the streets that the guy asked for 20%, not 50. So we'll renegotiate, David.
Yeah.
That's it. We'll see how much my value is to
Whatever you think is fair, man. I'm here to be of service. It's
dude, thank you so much for being on. I really, really, really can't tell you. I know that you touch people's lives, man. But for me personally, and I'll let Brandon speak for himself, this to me has been one of the favorite conversations I've had in a very, very long time with such a genuine person, man. And you are who you say you are. And in this world, it's hard to find. So I personally
100%, man. Thank you for your message. Can't thank you enough for your time. We'll play it forward.
Let's do it again. Thank you. Pay it forward. Soon. Be kind to your future self. Do good deeds. That's all I got to say.
100%.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, guys. Take care. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, team.
Well, I got to tell you, dude, I'm still kind of in shock. It almost feels like every one of his answers was scripted because it's so good.
Yeah.
And it's not. You can see it pouring out of his heart. He talks about community. He talks about being thankful. He talks about gratitude. He talks about impacting lives. He talks about if you impact one life with an open heart and open mind, you may reach 6 million open hearts and open minds. I mean, this guy lives by so much to help community and people. one of the most unbelievable people we've ever had.
He kind of blew my mind with his answer to my first question about, how do you get somebody that can't see what they have anything to be thankful for to say thank you to. And I was really, honestly, I was fishing for something cliche, even though I told him to not be cliche. Yeah. But that answer that he gave me, I've literally never heard before. Essentially, paraphrasing, sorry if I got this wrong, David, but cool, you think you're a piece of shit and you're worthless? Cool, fuck yourself, go help somebody else, and it'll all just come back around.
Literally one of the best pieces of advice that will live in my heart forever. I mean, because I've been there, dude. Like I've been there and down and out, and we always say, right, it's almost like in sales. I know we talk about everything comes back to sales and businesses and all the same stuff, but right, if you're not succeeding in the sales world or you're not, doing well, we always say, how do you get back on track? Go train someone, right? Yeah. Go, because you'll start remembering things that you used to do that made you successful. That's basically what he's saying. He's like, go help someone else. You start understanding why you need to relive your life again. Refocus is huge for him, which I love that rule, by the way, right? Yeah. But it's cool. But he said one of the things that I loved, you said, the light, the love, and the lessons in life, right? It's just like those things. It's like, it's so cool how this guy lives every day. He values his time, values other people's time. I mean, what was your best part of the show?
Dude, I don't know. Another thing that I wrote down was that because I asked him, what's that number one thing that you're most passionate about right now in business? Not the cliche stuff, even though that's all good, but in business, what's the thing you're most passionate about? And I just loved his answer because it literally, like, long story short, was, making money, but he says monetizing my community. And it's just all about building that massive community and adding a ton of value, which he is extremely passionate about, but also making money on it. So I just love the honesty in it, because some people may want to go to a different answer that didn't have anything to do with making money, because it kind of gears the answer to the question that I'm asking. So I'm just glad he went the opposite route and was truthful. And then he starts talking about bending time and all this crazy physics shit.
Quantums, and he's so smart. You can see it too. I had a couple really huge takeaways. One of the I would say his quotes was, the speed of thought moves faster than the speed of light, right? Which I was like, golly, that's like crazy. But one of the biggest things that I think the world has a hard time with is not appreciating or understanding how to receive. Like that to me, I was like, wow, that's like, because how many times you receive a gift, you're like, oh, I don't need that. But he learned how to receive. I think that power in just learning how to receive and being okay with that gives you the ability to give back even more, like he's doing now. He offers so much free content. He is literally telling his clients, which as sales guys, we go, take away. He's trying to close them. Yeah. No, he's not. He's basically saying, hey, Brandon, if you want to know everything that David Meltzer has, I have a David Meltzer library. You can get all that shit for free. And you don't have to pay me hundreds of thousands of dollars if you don't want. Now, if you want me to do the work for you, you can pay me to do it. That's what my time and value is. But learning how to receive and understanding the value and appreciating that, having the gratitude for that, that's a lesson that I'm going to take and I'm going to use for the rest of my life.
Big time, 100%.
Dude,
it was fire. You stole the rest of my content, so
that's because that was the there's fire, a lot of good content. Just do me a favor, really guys. Good. Go back, listen to it again, and I'm going to tell you something. If you don't like, comment, subscribe, or turn on your notifications now after that post, there is something wrong with you. I want you guys. Here's what I want you to do. This episode was so good. I want you guys to go comment below on what your biggest takeaway was from David Meltzer. In 20 minutes, he gave you a shit ton of fire info.
Look at that guy. Sexy as shit.
That's you? Oh, it's
Look,
off David
sexy
Meltzer. Sorry, David.
As shit.
Sorry, David. Back to you.
All three cameras.
Back to you. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you on the next Gut Check Uncut. Peace. David Meltzer, the bomb. If you love this guest as much as we did, please follow them on all their social media platforms. The way to support us is to like and comment on all your favorite episodes. And please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification for the next Gut Check Uncut.